Bureau is proud to present this amazing state tournament and celebrate the accomplishments of Iowa's student athletes. To the Iowa Farm Bureau, this is more than just a sport. It's hometown pride, it's hopes and dreams, it's our future leaders, it's a reason to do more and be more. And it's that farm-strong spirit that can only be found in Iowa. Congratulations to the student athletes and coaches on a successful year, and remember, today's successes are just the beginning of tomorrow's achievements.
Here in Greater Des Moines, we're the unexpected sports mecca that feels like home. We are the big ballers, the little kickers, the underdogs, and the bulldogs. We've got events wacky and wild, big and small, we host them all. That old sports cliche, nobody believes in us? Nah, you come here, you'll believe. Because in Des Moines, only the S's are silent. Let's go!
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Frank, when you think Fairway, you think fresh. Is that the winning culture you've tried to create?
Penelope Pineapple, what an unbelievable produce performance. How does your team stay so fresh?
Sunkissed Orange. Is it true Fairway has offered the freshest produce in town since 1938?
What can we say? Our produce is so fresh, we're speechless.
You're watching the 2024 Iowa High School Girls State Basketball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. 3 quarterfinals down, 1 more to go in Class 2A as the 6-seed Central Lyon Lions face off against the 3-seed Westwood Rebels. And hello, basketball fans. Delighted to have you with us here on this Wednesday morning, approaching the noon hour here from Wells Fargo Arena in downtown Des Moines. That's Andy Pollock. I'm Hunter Phillips. And so, Andy, now we're closing in on the final Class 2A quarterfinal. You know, all these matchups have intriguing storylines. Of course, Central Lyon, 2-time runner-up here over the last 2 years, so you know that they're coming in with a little bit of a fire. But on the other side for Westwood, undefeated, and they haven't made it to state in 23 years, so they're looking to make the most out of their opportunity.
Yeah, these girls for Westwood weren't even born the last time Westwood made it to state, coming out of Sloan way over on the western part of the state. And I think a big key right now is how they're going to be able to handle the nerves of being here. You know, the whole town's going to be here supporting them. And we've seen teams come here that have handled it well, and we've seen teams come here that haven't handled it well when they haven't been here for a long time.
Well, and the support has been great for all the communities here throughout the week, but especially for this particular matchup that we have here in store. Let's take a look at our road to state for both of these teams, beginning with the 6th-seed Central Lyon Lions, who top Hinton in their regional final to punch its ticket to state for the 3rd consecutive year and 5th trip overall. A tough rebounding and shot blocking team. Central Lyon is led in scoring by senior Desta Hugendorn, but awaiting the Lions are the 3-seed and undefeated Westwood Rebels, who are back at state for the first time since 2001. Westwood breezed past Exira HEK in the region final. One of the younger teams in the 2A field. We'll talk about it throughout our broadcast, but the Rebels boast the 2nd best defense in the state and have 3 players that average double figures in scoring. So we'll go ahead and step aside for our first break. When we come back, we'll dive a little deeper into today's contest with the Seeds for Success presented by Channel Seeds, and then the starting lineups as we continue to count down to tip-off. This is the 2024 Girls State Basketball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
This is our son, Sebastian. In 2021, he took half a pill he didn't know was counterfeit.
That tiny pill contained enough fentanyl to kill him almost instantly. Kids buy them on social media and share them with their friends, not realizing how dangerous they are.
Please talk to your kids about not taking anything that's not directly prescribed to them.
Our child will never get to grow up, but we want yours to be able to.
In Iowa, we all play by the same rules. Hard work pays off, practice makes perfect, success is something you earn, and teamwork helps us all be winners. The Iowa Pork Producers Association is proud to support statewide high school athletics. Because on our team and on yours, what we bring to the table is what brings us all together. Learn more about our commitment to Iowa at iowapork.org.
When you choose Delta Dental of Iowa, you set a chain of good in motion because we invest in your community. So whether you get your plan at work or purchase it through us, you get more than great dental and vision insurance. You make a difference for others. Choose Delta Dental for your smile, for your health, and for your community.
Getting closer and closer to the ball being sent in the air for this Class 2A quarterfinal between Westwood and Central Lyon on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. Once again, Hunter Phillips and Andy Pollock here courtside with you in downtown Des Moines at Wells Fargo Arena. Now we'll dive deeper into today's contest with the Channel Seeds for Success.
Well, first of all, for Central Lyon, the Lions, they're a team that's been here before twice, like you mentioned earlier in the pregame, and they've been here more than twice, but twice they've been in the state championship game in the last 2 years. The big part is going to be they're going to play stretches of good defense. They've got to be consistent throughout the course of the game and really limit Westwood's chances on the offensive glass. And then the other big thing for Central Lyon is they've got a couple of the taller players, not only in Class 1A or Class 2A, but in this entire tournament in the inside with Aubrey Metzger and Desta Hugedorn. Hugedorn averaging almost 18 points a game, so they really pound the ball inside, run the offense through the middle, and then for Westwood, handle those nerves of being here for the first time in the lifetime of these girls that are here today. And again, their defense is going to be very aggressive, but they got to be disciplined and understand what times you can go for the steal, what times it's best to just hang back and play defense.
There you have it. Today's Seeds for Success were brought to you by Channel Seeds. The enhanced Channel Seed brand is here to help farmers like you up your game and rise to the challenge. Learn more at channel.com/rise. We'll take one final break. When we come back, we'll get you close to tip-off with the team introductions, meet the starters, and then tip-off here for this Class 2A quarterfinal on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Two schools from the western edge of the state, separated by 92 miles, but certainly a long distance here from Wells Fargo Arena, will meet for the very first time here at State in the Class 2A quarterfinals. It's Westwood and Central Lyon. Dyke New Hartford, the three-time defending state champions, punched their ticket to the semifinals, as did Sioux Central. And Panorama began today with a win over Grundy Center, so now we'll find out who will join that group here as you wait until Wednesday to play here in the quarterfinals. The build-up has been great leading up, but now it's time to play some basketball. But before then, we'll go to Tim Fitzpatrick, our public address announcer, to meet both of the teams.
Good morning, basketball fans, and welcome to today's 2024 Girls State Basketball 2A quarterfinal matchup featuring the Central Lyon Lions and the Westwood Rebels. Fans, tradition is an important part of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union's storied history. Because our past is an integral part of what we do today, we ask that everyone in attendance please join in a round of applause to show our appreciation to all the women who have participated in high school athletics in Iowa. Once an Iowa girl, always an Iowa girl. Now at this time, the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union and the Iowa Farm Bureau would like to recognize the outstanding sportsmanship shown by Central Lyon High School and Westwood High School. In recognition of the importance of good sportsmanship, each state qualifying school was asked to nominate a spectator who represents their school and community in a sportsmanlike manner. Faith Kakmarinsky from Pella Christian High School, a member of the IGHSAU Student Athlete Advisory Committee, will present each nominee with a certificate of recognition and a $250 check payable to their school scholarship fund. Please join us in honoring these individuals whose decorum and respect for others serves as a model for all spectators attending interscholastic events. From Central Lyon High School, Audrey and Conrad Denoval. And from Westwood High School, Scott Brecky. The Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union promotes good sportsmanship by participants, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants, officials, and spectators in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, sexist, or abusive comments, or intimidating actions directed at officials, participants, coaches, team representatives, or event personnel will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal. We thank you for your cooperation and invite you to just enjoy the game. Fans, it's now time to introduce our players in today's 2A quarterfinal matchup. First of all, here are your non-starters and assistant coaches for the Central Lyon Lions. Number 2, Hayden Stetniks. Number 4, Cheyenne Struckman. Number 12, Mariah Gerleman. Number 22, Georgie Odekoven. Number 24, Erica Floyd. Number 32, Emery Lincecum. Number 42, Avery Harmon. And number 52, Eliana Hofert. Your assistant coaches, Greg Town, Jared DeBay, and Sutton Schlumbum. Now, here are your non-starters and assistant coaches for the Westwood team. Number 2, Kaya Williams. Number 3, Carly Tadlock. Number 5, Chloe Wiggs. Number 10, Lauren Burkhart. Number 15, Grace Lewis. Number 20, Lily Dannenberg. Number 22, Jordan Scholl. Number 23, Bella Hiltz. Number 30, Bristol Pike. Number 33, Cassie Skinner. Number 34, Briley Lee. And number 40, Hannah Kruger. Your assistant coaches, Jill Muntrath and Brooklyn Top. And now, here's your starting lineup for today's 2A quarterfinal. For Central Lyon, at guard, a 5'7" sophomore, number 14, Danica Hugendorn. For Westwood, at guard, a 5'2" senior, number 4, Ella Hanner. For the Lions, at forward, a 5'10" junior, number 20, Alexis Austin. At guard for the Rebels, a 5'5" sophomore, number 12, Kate Dries. For Central Lyon, at guard, a 5'6" senior, number 30, Ashlyn Davis. At forward for Westwood, a 6' sophomore, number 14, Brenna Johnson. At center for the Lions, a 6' senior, number 40, Desta Hugendorn. At forward, a 6' senior, number 35, Addie Johnson. And for the Lions at center, a 6'2" junior, number 50, Aubrey Metzger. For the Rebels at center, a 6'1" junior, number 44, Ashlyn Davis. Head coach for the Lions, Heather Graping. And for the Rebels, Vince Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you our officials for today's 2A quarterfinal as assigned by the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Steve Allman, Cody Oakes, Justin Meyer, and your bench official, Cody Buzel. All right, who's ready for state tournament basketball?
And before we begin today's game, we'd like to once again thank the Iowa Farm Bureau, proud title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, for their support. The Iowa Farm Bureau has an office located in each county here across Iowa. Thank you, Iowa Farm Bureau, for supporting the IGHSAU and the Iowa Girl. Packed Wells Fargo Arena, the fans are ready, the teams are ready. And we're off and running. Central Lyon in their purple, gold, and white uniforms have the basketball to start today's contest. 20-3 overall record, the 6th seed, and again the two-time defending runner-ups in Class 2A. Dialing up a deep three, far corner, and knocking it down is Danica Hugendorn. And the Lions strike first with a three.
Saw a little 3-2 zone look right away to get things started for Westwood, and that's a way to bust that zone right away. It's hitting those threes in the corner.
Addie Johnson stepping out of bounds far sideline, so a short-lived opening trip down the floor for the Rebels. Put a little bit of a press together against the Lions, who speed across the timeline. Going to have a kick ball here underneath.
Boy, the length of these teams just strikes you when they come out on the court. These are two of the taller teams tournament-wide, not just in Class 2A. You see there's 5 or 6 6-footers on the floor right now.
3 of which for Westwood, 2 for Central Lyon. Mid-range jumper in and out there for Austin. And the Rebels come down with the rebound.
Both teams going to look to pound that ball inside, take advantage of their height. Not really they've done that all year, taking advantage of the height all year. May not be able to do it today.
Moving screen on Addie Johnson will give things right back to Central Lyon. So talked about some of the nerves, Andy, for Westwood and 2 early turnovers. Give the ball back here to Central Lyon, who had a 3 to get the morning started. And that'll work underneath for Hugendorn. Pretty fitting for Danica Hugendorn, who had 25 points in the region final win for Central Lyon to make its 3rd consecutive trip. Of course, the younger sister of Desta, who has had a great run, particularly here at the state tournament for the Lions.
Westwood has not really been challenged as you go through their scores throughout the year. Just not many close games, obviously undefeated right now. But how will they respond right now to this quick 7-0 deficit? That's going to be a key right now because they have not been in too many situations where they've been behind this season.
It's been the Hugendorn sisters who have gotten the scoring done early. All 7 of the Lions' points. We're 2 minutes into the first quarter. Elbow jumper. Doesn't go for Addie Johnson. One of the top scorers for the Rebels. Deep 3 put up and knocking it down. Ashlyn Davis, timeout by Westwood. And it is going to be a full timeout. So the 6th seed, Central Lyon. The Lions roaring here early on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Level up your game at Central College. More than half of Central students participate in intercollegiate athletics because Central allows you to pursue your passions and be more than a spectator. It's the best decision ever. Apply at central.edu. Hunter Phillips, Andy Pollock here with you on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. And speaking of pursuing buckets for Central Lyon, it's gotten them off to a great start, 10-0 lead. Westwood had to call a timeout, and wanting to get that reverse lay up the fall is Kate Dries, but it doesn't. Westwood in a little bit of trouble here early on, and now a tie-up here. Possession arrow goes to Westwood, so maybe that can spark something.
They're coming off that miss. That's the tempo they want to get into defensively right now and try to create some of that helter-skelterness out here and get Central Lyon a little bit uncomfortable on the offensive end, of which they've been very comfortable so far.
Westwood, one of 5 schools to enter the state tournament with an undefeated record. And up top, that'll help Kate Dries, second leading three-point shooter for the Rebels. Gets them on the board here. 7-point lead for Central Lyon. They try to respond with a 3. Being fouled in the process of hoisting that one up was Desta Hugendorn.
Right now, I don't sense any panic, which you're not going to this early on for Westwood, but just as like I said, how are they going to respond by getting behind? I think that's a good setup before, get that open look for Dries, and obviously very comfortable hitting that shot.
Hugendorn makes the first. Coach Heather Grafing said that Desta Hugendorn has just been such a great fixture for this program since she arrived as a freshman, but this has been kind of a different year for the Lions, normally very perimeter-based in terms of offense, especially when you lost a player like Addison Klosterbauer. You're going to have to change things up a little bit in how you approach the game, and they have done a fantastic job of adapting this year.
And she's risen up, right, and had her 17.5 points a game. She's really become that go-to, and mentioned that she's the one they really want to run this offense through on the inside. As nearly another turnover, another deflect. Just really hard for Westwood to get in a flow offensively right now as this game progresses.
Very own Daniel Versteeg there on the left, helping collect the basketball there, press row. You always got to be ready for the basketball to come your way.
We had a couple near misses yesterday.
Layup just a little short there for Ashlyn Davis. Central Lyon, who again is a top 5 rebounding team in Class 2A, collects the miss. Hugendorn. And that mid-post jumper rattles in, and the Hugendorn sisters setting the tone early here for Central Lyon, who's up by 11.
You see they just are constantly disrupting things. And again, I thought there was another block shot there, a little late foul call, but just really tough to get in a flow, really tough to get comfortable right now for the ladies from Sloan and Hornick and Salix and Smithland.
Both of these programs from the western edge of the state. Here's Addie Johnson, daughter of head coach Vince Johnson.
What a treat that's got to be, not just to coach one daughter but 2 on the team, and to be able to do that at this level. I think that would be so much fun to do that. I am not patient enough to work with my own kids.
Well, and Addie has had an incredible journey, tore her ACL early on in her high school career, and boy, how big she has been as a senior.
Not just once, she retore it right when she got back as well, so it's great to see her back out on the floor.
First shot doesn't go for Metzger. Travel underneath.
Took a little hop step just to try to clear herself and create a little more space under the bucket.
So now we'll have our first IMT substitution entering in for Westwood. That is Kaya Williams, the junior guard. Learn how you can be worry-free with IMT at IMTINS.com. Again, all of our substitutions this week on the Girls Union Network are presented by our friends at IMT Insurance. Trying to go for the lob underneath. Hugendorn, such a great post defender, picks it off. Now settling back in the front court of Central Lyon.
Yeah, you're going to have a really tough time throwing the ball over top of her with her 6-foot frame.
The bounce pass underneath. Bank shot doesn't go. Now Williams brings it up. A little miscommunication. But fortunately, it was last off of Central Lyon as it went across the half-court line, so now the Rebels will reset. Ella Hanner, senior point guard. And once again, the length of Central Lyon really giving Westwood fits here early on.
Just nothing clean, really offensively, just a hand on everything.
Danica Hugendorn to the corner for Austin. Here, good ball movement, turnaround. No for Desta Hugendorn. Addie Johnson there for the board for Westwood. Williams, skip down low, good turn and finish. As Ashlyn Davis, the junior that averages 13.9 points per game. Again, one of 3 Rebels that average double figures in scoring. 2 to play here in the first quarter. Fun start here in this 3 versus 6 matchup. Hugendorn just lets that one roll out of play here as we have more IMT insurance substitutions checking in for both sides.
I like what the Rebels defensively, they've kind of settled in a little bit more right now, look much more comfortable on that end of the floor. See if it can lead to some points and some opportunities for them on the offensive end as well.
And sometimes it takes a few minutes, maybe that first half of the first quarter, to just really get settled in, and they certainly have, getting another takeaway. Kaya Williams off the high screen. She walked with the basketball. The setup was there, but just not the execution.
Right look, she dribbles in, drew the whole defense to her, ready to kick it back out, but just that extra little hop as she tried to come to a jump stop. I like this skip passes right now. The Central Lions use these quick, crisp skip passes, really changing up the angles against this zone defense. Really forces the defense to shift quick. they've got some looks down low, just haven't been able to convert over the last couple minutes.
And won't convert this time as the pass is just a little high for Ashlyn Davis to retrieve. So the turnovers have been picking up just a tad here for Central Lyon. Now for Westwood, trailing by 7, just trying to take advantage of the early miscues. Looking down low once again. That's been an emphasis here for the Rebels early on, but the Lions have had it well covered.
Yeah, it's not too many times you're going to be able to lob the pass over Aubrey Metzger, but Metzger not able to get that one, but it forces that ball to be a lot higher. It takes a lot more time to get down low. And then you've got the help side defense coming down there from the backside. I think that was Oudkoven.
Again, one of the adjustments, too, for Westwood, probably not used to facing teams that can match them in terms of their height and length. Williams, runner in the lane, is a little too strong. Rebound brought down by Central Lyon. Central Lyon got off to a 10-0 run and out of a Westwood timeout. Able to trim that down to 7. Close play underneath, and the Lions are able to come away with a basket there. Modesta Hugendorn, who's been off to a great start here to this first quarter. She has 8 points. Williams pull up from the elbow.
Along with several rebounds too, right, for Desta? What do they have her listed at? She had 2 on the last possession.
So most of those rebounds coming at that trip. Good stick-to-itiveness there by Westwood and Ashlyn Davis. Or Brenna Johnson. Check that had the last basket. Tough pass to complete there on that backdoor cut.
That's a great look, though, and that's the ones that you, again, the execution of just completing that pass. If that pass is complete, that's a wide-open layup down low for Bristol Pike. So it's one of those that it probably looks a little bit harder than it had to be because there's a lot of space down there for her to convert that.
See what Westwood can do here in the final seconds, sprinting down the floor and looking to the low post for Ashlyn Davis. Going to have 0.8 ticks on the game clock here, so quick inbounds play.
No time for a dribble, but they can catch and shoot.
That one's good if it goes. And that a little short was Ella Hanner on the three-point try, but our first quarter will come to a close where Central Lyon will take the lead into the second quarter over Westwood, 16-9. We'll have the second quarter after these messages on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
Here in Greater Des Moines, we're the unexpected sports mecca that feels like home. We are the big ballers, the little kickers, the underdogs, and the bulldogs. We've got events wacky and wild, big and small, we host them all. And that old sports cliche, nobody believes in us? Nah, when you come here, you'll believe. Because in Des Moines, only the S's are silent. Let's go!
Level up your game at Central College. More than half of Central students participate in intercollegiate athletics because Central allows you to pursue your passions and be more than a spectator. It's the best decision ever. Apply at central.edu. One quarter is in the books here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy, here at the 2024 Girls State Basketball Tournament, presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau. Hunter Phillips and Andy Pollock here with you. Andy, what really stood out there in that first quarter as Central Lyon is looking to get off to a fast start here to the second quarter, and it's been the rebounding that has helped them get off to the early lead.
No doubt Metzger there able to get the putback after creating a couple opportunities for herself. Really after the first 2 to 3 minutes of that where Central Lyon got off to that 10-point lead. I think Westwood's really settled in. Their defense has played much, much better.
Central Lyon shooting 46.5% from the floor. Westwood at 30%. Good look from straight away for Addie Johnson. A mad scramble for the rebound, scooped up here by the Lions.
Yeah, they continue to only allow one opportunity for Westwood on the offensive end. Don't like that look.
Tough pass. Knocked free by Davis, working in transition. And the layup goes for Brenna Johnson.
Ball hung on the front edge of the rim forever, but nice job, good sharing of the ball. You got to feel pretty good right now being Westwood, only trailing by 7 after that early deficit. The game looked like it could have got out of hand early.
That was Vince Johnson just knowing that, hey, now's the time to be able to talk things over and make sure the lead stays where it's at the moment at 10 and methodically work your way back, which is what the Rebels are doing here to start this second quarter. But again, trying to find success underneath. We are going to get a foul here on the floor.
And I'm guessing that's something that's worked quite a bit throughout the course of the year. We haven't seen a whole lot of games from Westwood, but able to get it over the top, use your height and kind of pass it over the top of teams, but that's not going to work against a team like Central Lyon. Desta Hugendorn in there at 6 foot tall, Metzger 6'2", just makes it really hard to throw over the top. And then you got Alexis Austin at 5'10". You've seen a lot of post players for teams at 5'10", and she's the third tallest girl on the team.
Yeah, the front courts have been vital to this team's success for both sides. Coming up empty are the Lions. Now being swarmed on are the Rebels. Have to get rid of the basketball, and it's pried away by Central Lyon.
Points are getting harder and harder for Central Lyon right now.
Hugendorn's layup isn't there, but Aubrey Metzger, who averages just under 10 rebounds a game, grabs another and is fouled on the putback attempt. Metzger, who is 5th in Class 2A and field goal percentage at 61.5%, makes her way to the line. She is Central Lyon's career leader in blocks. And the first free throw rattles in and out. But again, that is just a picture that has described much of this first half right there. Both sides battling for rebounds.
Metzger
awfully physical down low.
6 rebounds already in this contest for Metzger.
Lead is 8 for Central Lyon. Just under 5.5 to play here in our opening half as we have crossed over the noon hour. Layup not there, and again, like you said, Andy, the baskets have really been hard-earned for the Rebels here in this first half.
And just again, one opportunity, right? They catch the ball, they shoot it, and immediately it's back the other way. Central Lyon protecting that glass.
Hugendorn.
See a few times right now, both these teams trying to lob it over the top. It's not too often have they seen teams that have matched height with them, and that's becoming an issue on the offensive end.
Just makes the margin for error very slim, working out of the inbounds.
Slows everything down.
Navigating through into the lane was Alexis Austin. It will remain Central Lyon basketball. Just has the feeling of being one of those games where, well, you just have to value each possession. Open three, and it's drilled for Alexis Austin.
Central Lyon has matched their biggest lead here again now. Just when it felt like Westwood was starting to make some plays, get back up into the game again. Central Lyon, a couple big shots.
Central Lyon 3 of 4 from beyond the arc, and the lead is double digits. Slamming the door shut on that putback attempt underneath. Destin Hugendorn, and Hugendorn, when it comes to blocks, in 2022 she had the most of any player, any class. And then last year a player by the name of Audie Crooks had the most blocks out of any player at state. So
I wonder what she's up to right now.
Yeah, just doing some things at a place called Iowa State, and
just set the freshman record for points up at Iowa State. When you consider some of the talent they've had up there, it's quite the feat. didn't know for sure. You knew for sure Audie Crooks was going to be a good player at some point. Didn't expect to see it this quick for Coach Bill Fennelly.
Well, I'm just part of a tremendous freshman class that also includes Kelsey Jones, fellow Iowan. Saw Audie here earlier in the week.
Got her Golden Bears play here in next game after, not the next game, but 2 games from now. Be on the call for that one.
Closing out day 3 with some fantastic 1A action. Got a blocking foul here underneath on Central Lyon. Here's Westwood is trying to pave their way back into this game, and it will be Brenna Johnson, a 6'" sophomore at the line.
I was thinking about our conversation that we just had now this morning of some of the incredible players having the opportunity to witness here on the floor at Wells Fargo Arena and just in the last couple of years. And obviously, Caitlin Clark is one of those players. The Jones sisters, I'll get a chance to call a game tomorrow with Ellie Ruffridge, and she's one that had a great career. I think she still holds a scoring record in the state of Iowa.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty decent. Went on to Missouri State and had a fun career down there, passing that knowledge along right now as a high school coach. And Audie Crooks, and like you mentioned, the Jones sisters, just some incredible talent that we've witnessed here. And it makes you wonder, some of these players that we see next, who's going to be that next player? And we've certainly seen, the players going to the UNIs, the Drakes. We've seen a lot of them play down here. So can't wait to see who that next crop of players is that we're talking about here again in a few years.
Well, on Monday, Don Staley, the head coach at South Carolina, was here to see Divine Burridge of Davenport North. And we saw a 5A single-game tournament record be broken with Grace Knutson hitting 8 threes in that game against Davenport North, breaking a record that was set by Caitlin Clark and Johnson's Eiley Tanky. These 2 teams have really been getting after it. But the jumper there from just above the left elbow is short from Ashlyn Davis.
And Knutson's going to UNI, correct? That's where she's
from Cedar Falls, but going to Drake.
Drake, that's right. Yes, and I just watched North Polk yesterday, and they've got future UNI basketball player there, and just a lot of fun talent down here. And that's what, when you talk about some of the college players here, Addie Johnson going to Wayne State for Westwood, and Hugendorn will be going to Dort to play next year. There's all those other levels, too, that we don't know. There's a lot of good basketball being played in the state at all different levels of college right now.
And all of the colleges convene here at Wells Fargo Arena this week to see that next wave of talent. And as the Westwood fans are starting to make some noise, a timeout will be called here by Central Lyon. We'll see if it's a 30-second or a full. Will be a 30-second timeout, so we'll go ahead and stay here with just under 2.5 minutes to play. The lead is 7 for Central Lyon, but a little bit of a flurry here from Westwood, getting it done on the defensive end, causing a few fouls. And for Heather Grafey, now in her 9th year at Central Lyon, just wanting to calm down her side here.
There was something that she saw. I'm not sure what it was, but she was very quick to call that timeout after that bucket by Johnson. So I'm not sure what was going on down on the defensive end, but she wants to get something fixed, and obviously feels like it's worth making that call with 2.5 minutes to go in the first half. Obviously, he's won a lot of basketball games, Coach Grafing.
What a successful tenure for her, 158 wins in her time at Central Lyon. Her second coaching stop, of course, Vince Johnson on the other side for Westwood, 314 career wins. So you talk about the great players here in the state. It starts at this grassroots level with the tremendous coaches.
Little shift. It's still a zone, but just a little bit different zone look. They've really sagged off with Ella Hanner dropping back on that point of the zone.
9th turnover by Central Lyon. Back to work is Westwood. Off the high screen, looking for the kick out. Deflecting it is Hugendorn. Men up immediately by Ashlyn Davis in transition. Tie up. Possession arrow points to Westwood.
Hugendorn a little slow getting up. She hit the deck pretty hard after the steal. looking at Central Lions games throughout the course of the season as well, they, losses to a couple tournament teams. Played Spirit Lake, who's another very good team. Esterville Lincoln Central, who we saw yesterday or 2 days ago. They won, right? We saw them at night. It's all running together right now.
Yeah, the top seed in Class 3A. Metzger with the denial, but the quick scoop and takeaway by the Rebels. Up top, Brenna Johnson hits it home.
Johnson just in rhythm, and I love that in-rhythm three-pointer. No hesitation. A lot of times when you're that open, you'll kind of take a peek around, but she stepped right into it. And Johnson, a 40% three-point shooter. You cannot leave her that open.
7-0 run here by Westwood. Hugendorn, and she answers with a three of her own.
It wasn't a skip pass, but it might as well have been. They got the ball all the way to the far side of the court, got everybody on the defensive end shifted to that side of the court. It left her wide open.
Hugendorn started the morning with a three, and into the afternoon knocks down a big answer. Just relentless rebounding effort underneath from Addie Johnson.
I'm chuckling a little bit at Addie Johnson because she was very frustrated herself for not finishing at the basket there. You can see her just shake her hands, but excellent effort there by her around the hoop.
One of two seniors in the starting five for Westwood. Knocks down the first free throw. Quick look at her dad, Vince Johnson, there on the sideline. Big O board off the miss.
Yeah, Ella Hanner, shortest player on the court, sneaks in between the defenders. Got a chance to cut this lead down quite a bit. They got to feel pretty good about how this second quarter has gone.
What about an 8-second difference between shot and game clock? But the Rebels have it taken away. Central Lyon with a big stop. They can hold for the final one here before going into the intermission. Taken away by Westwood. Johnson, coast to coast to end the half. What an exclamation point there for Westwood to go into the locker room with as Central Lyon will take the lead into halftime, 25-21, but a large second quarter.
You can see a couple glances at the clock just to make sure she had time. She knew it, got all the way down, and that goes in with about 0.3 on the clock.
Boy, that caps off just a strong end of that second quarter for Westwood, which will no doubt set up for an entertaining second half. But for now, we'll take a break. And when we come back, we'll have our halftime report here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Slade's the place for you!
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
At halftime here at Wells Fargo Arena in downtown Des Moines, Central Lyon, the 6th seed, leads the 3 seed Westwood at the break, 25-21. Hunter Phillips and Andy Pollock, once again delighted to have you with us here on this Wednesday afternoon from Iowa's capital city. And Andy, this was really a half that for the most part Central Lyon controlled. I mean, at the 4:47 mark there in the second quarter, the score was 22-11. But then flipping the script was Westwood going on a 10-3 run, and they had the momentum there with a last-second layup there to close the first half. And so that sets up for an intriguing second half.
And it was those defensive opportunities, the pressure that they've been putting on Central Lyon is just starting to get to them a little bit right now. And when you got to maintain that focus and that discipline on the offensive end throughout the course of an entire basketball game, that can wear on you a little bit.
Well, now we'd like to take a moment to once again thank our title sponsor, the Iowa Farm Bureau, for their support of the state basketball tournament. Earlier this week, the IGHSAU had the opportunity to speak with Iowa Farm Bureau President Brent Johnson to learn more about Iowa Farm Bureau's support of the IGHSAU and student athletes across the state.
Thanks for joining us for the 2024 Girls State Basketball Tournament. I'm Matt Hominoff with the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. We want to thank all of our partners for all the great support we get from around the state. None more important than our proud title sponsor, Iowa Farm Bureau. With me today is the president of the Iowa Farm Bureau, Brent Johnson. Thanks for joining us, Brent.
Yep.
Why does the Iowa Farm Bureau feel so strongly about supporting the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union and our tournament games?
Well, Matt, the Iowa Farm Bureau has been the title sponsor for the Girls Union now for 19 years. And once again, very proud to be a part of this year's state girls basketball tournament. And, you know, this tournament highlights the work ethic, teamwork, resilience, and dedication that these girls have contributed for a year's worth of dedication to their craft. And just like that same spirit, the Iowa farmers are the best in what they do across this entire country, not only in production, but also in conservation. And you put all that together, and there's a lot here to celebrate.
Yeah. Your support for the IGHSAU goes beyond youth and education. What other support does the Iowa Farm Bureau provide Iowa's youth?
Yeah. Well, Matt, here at Farm Bureau, we believe that today's youth is tomorrow's leaders, and we're proud to support them in many different ways. One of those is by our scholarship program. Every single year, we give nearly $500,000 across the entire state to those kids so that they can continue their education at a higher level. We've also partnered with the Girls Union and the Boys Association now for several years to offer concussion insurance for those student athletes who compete in sanctioned sports across the entire state so that they can do so at a high level and feel safe doing so. And that is at no cost to that student or their families. Third, we've given teachers across the state nearly $500,000 so that they can properly equip their classrooms to do their jobs better. And most recently, just last year, the Iowa Farm Bureau gave the Iowa FFA Foundation $1 million so that they can properly place ag teachers and ensure that students across the state have an exposure to agriculture and how it affects their lives every day.
Yeah, so the students participating in this year's tournament are taking home some pretty neat souvenirs. But one new item that they're taking home are the championship ball caps. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, absolutely. You know, the girls who are competing at this year's tournament are actually taking home quite a bit of swag this year. Of course, we have the bag tags and the signature basketballs that the girls have been used to seeing over the years. But this year, we've added a championship ball cap so that those girls who actually win the tournament have an extra souvenir to remember that if they put their minds to it, they can accomplish anything.
Well, thanks again, Brent, for both your and everyone at Iowa Farm Bureau's support of the Iowa Girl over the years.
In Iowa, we grow corn. A lot of corn. Corn is what supports us. It feeds our livestock, it fuels our vehicles, and powers our state. It nourishes our families. A cash crop? Yeah, but it's way more than that. Corn sustains us. It's who we are. Without it, we'd just be... well, you get the picture. In Iowa, we grow corn. But the truth is, corn grows Iowa.
The thing I love about Clark is that you're never just one thing. I'm not just a student, I'm a future doctor. I'm an athlete on a history-making team. I'm a community member supporting the causes I care about. I'm a friend, a neighbor, a leader. At Clark, you can become anything. What will you be? Be you at CU.
Fans official state tournament merchandise is now available online. So now it's time to get your smartphones out. Just scan the QR code on your screen now or visit IGHSAU.org to browse and customize your merchandise to match your style. Central Lyon leads Westwood here at the break 25-21. Back here courtside with you on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy alongside Andy Pollock. I'm Hunter Phillips. And so, Andy, as we start to look at the first half stats here presented by Sukup, pretty even across the board. I mean, it was a tale of two different quarters, but points off of turnovers, that's what got the Rebels back in this game.
It really was. Again, those defensive opportunities turned into offense, and as you're going to look at the stats right now, a couple things individually we'll point out first. So we made a lot of sister references during the break, Sister Act and Sister, but it's a Hugendorn Sisters for Central Lyon with Danica has right now 8 points, and her sister Desta has 8 points as well. And then for Westwood, the Johnson sisters, Brenna with 9 points and Addie with 7. So as you look at these right now, everything pretty even. Westwood, not as many opportunities, or haven't made as many shots there, but you see a couple extras there and three-pointers for Central Lyon. Free throws pretty even as well. Rebounding, there's nothing that really stands out there except those points off of turnovers. That's been the big difference in this game so far, or what's allowed them to get back into the game.
And again, the winner of this game will go on to face the 2-seed Panorama, who was able to outlast the 7-seed Grundy Center here to start off day 3. And so as you start to look at maybe some of the adjustments, both teams really had an emphasis of pounding it there in the paint, and we saw a lot of denials on both sides, so I'm sure that'll be an adjustment, as well as the defensive pressure and how both of these teams are going to have to try to handle that, because that they're going to leave it all out there because the trip to the semifinals is on the line.
Well, and when you get to this point of the season, you are what you are, so there's only so many different ways that you are going to adjust. You know what the best thing is that you do. The old adage is dance with who brung you, and that's what you're going to see. The Rebels continue to put pressure on the basketball. You're going to see them to continue to try to create those defensive opportunities into offensive opportunities. You're going to continue to see Central Lyon pound the ball inside. You're just going to continue to see these things that have been successful for these teams. The tough part is the opposition knows it as well. So there's just little bits of adjustments that maybe we might not be noticing as much, but you want the key to a good adjustment is that you don't realize you've been adjusted on until it's too late.
Again, two teams that are separated by 92 miles. Their schools there in western Iowa meeting for the very first time, and so now after getting 2 quarters underneath them, now we'll see again what kind of adjustments will be made and who can make the critical plays down the stretch here in this 3 versus 6 matchup. Again, Dyke New Hartford, the 3-time defending state champions, easily were able to get past Cascade last evening to move on to the semifinals. Number 4 Sioux Central defeated number 5 Eddyville Blakesburg Fremont, and like we mentioned, Panorama earlier today punching its ticket to the semifinals. And what's looking like, for every field here, Andy, it's just stacked from 5A to 1A, but 2A in particular, a lot of talent here in this field. And so whoever comes out on top is definitely going to earn that championship here later in the week.
In Panorama, that 10-point win is maybe even a little bit skewed because they had to battle for every minute of that 10-point win. Grundy Center led by, I think it was 10 they led by at one point, and so Panorama had to battle back. I thought they showed great character. Again, they continued to do what they do throughout the course of the game. It eventually wore on Grundy, and that's why they came out victorious. Obviously, Panorama's been having a great program, not just this year, but in the past as well.
So both teams were in their locker rooms, talked things over. Final instructions being given by Coach Vince Johnson on the one side for Westwood, and head coach Heather Grafing on the other side for Central Lyon. Speaking of Central Lyon, they will start off the second half with the basketball. They're in their purple and gold uniforms. Westwood in their white, gold, and royal blue uniforms. And we're back underway here at the Well.
Good crowds from both schools on hand today. You know, I love the 4A and 3A crowds. You've got the nice mixture of the towns that everybody knows each other, but also big groups of people that come, big student sections. Well, 2A has showed up as well.
Baseline jumper right out of the gates is knocked down by Ashlyn Davis, the senior. So a similar start to the third quarter for that of the first quarter for the Lions, and that they got a basket on their first possession. And now the Rebels trying to build off of what was a 10-3 run to close out the first half.
It's a good look there. That's a really good look.
It was online for Annie Johnson, but just a little bit short.
They had it set up for Johnson. It looked like she was going to come around the screen, got the defense to come under it, then she popped back out, gave her a nice. You're not going to have many opportunities that good against Central Lyon's defense.
Danica Hugendorn swings over to the right wing. Back to Hugendorn up top. A little high for Metzger there in the low post. Go back to Westwood.
Central Lyon a chance to set up their pressure right now. We don't often talk about the bigger court once you get down here, the 94-foot court. Very, very few high schools. I think Johnston is 94 feet. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a couple others, but very few teams play on a full 94 feet. This makes a little more space to get the ball up the floor, but also if you have some good ball handlers, create some separation between players that you can do a little bit more on offense as well.
Pulling up and knocking down the three is Kate Drees. USA Drees for three and a big basket there for the Rebels.
We haven't seen Drees really shoot a whole lot. So just comes in averaging 5 points a game. Already has 6 here tonight.
Third made three for Westwood here in this ball game. Hugendorn has had a couple of answers from beyond the arc, but the Lions track down the miss, and they get a fresh shot clock. Tough spot there in the corner. Steal by Addie Johnson.
Another turnover.
Getting the handoff is Brenna Johnson and fellow sophomore Kate Drees. Johnson taking it all the way in. No. Aubrey Metzger right there for the rebound.
One of the keys for Central Lyon was that consistent defense, and when they've been able to play defense in the half court, they've made it really tough on Westwood to score. It's Westwood in those transition opportunities. That's what they need to get more of. Run, run, run.
Just after a little clarification between two of our officials, Westwood will have the basketball.
We've really got the best of the best officiating down here. We've seen some really, really nice games called. And obviously, as you get better competition, you don't have as many tough situations, it seems like, either that happen.
Can't say enough how much we just thank and appreciate the officials here throughout the week. They have been fantastic and will continue to be throughout the course here of the state tournament. A little bit of trouble here for the Lions underneath. How many tie-ups have we had here? And we're only into the midway part of the third quarter, so we'll stay here with Westwood.
I think we had 4 bodies on the floor going after that loose ball. I love the intensity that both of these teams come with. I'm checking to see if they had the possession arrow pointed the right direction, which, yeah, Central Lyon had the ball to start the quarter.
Another catch and shoot three right from the same spot. Drees can't get that one to go. Second chance opportunity here for the Rebels. Johnson, spin, and the floater just a little short.
I don't think she realized how open she was. I think she was expecting some body to catch her and didn't have to go through any of it.
Central Lyon out of the River Valley North Conference. Out of Rock Rapids, Lyon County. Between a pair of Rebels, Hugendorn has to give it up. Get a whistle as both teams were diving for the loose ball.
Yeah, I think they're going to get Hugendorn for the foul, going after the loose ball, but just went right into the side of Johnson. Man, you watch the swarming defense right now of Westwood. Every time the ball's close to the lane, everybody's there to go after it. Going to take some quick passes. May need to work it around. I know they want to get the ball to the post, but may need to change some angles, work it around the perimeter a little bit more like they did in the first quarter.
The last time that it was a 3-point lead for Central Lyon, it was the first made basket of the game, looking to tie it up. Oh, halfway down and out for Johnson. Central Lyon will get the basketball, but by way of the possession arrow and another held ball underneath.
A 1 foot difference between Aubrey Metzger and Ella Hanner, and Hanner just had enough of it. As soon as Metzger went to outlet it, Hanner was right there, clasped down on the ball. Couldn't even see her down there on the floor.
Hugendorn with 8 points on today.
Look at the way they're just swarming that post. Gonna have to hit some outside shots.
Perelman's three doesn't go. Now Westwood brings it up. Trailing by 3. Down low, drawing the foul. That was orchestrated very well from up top, and feeding that to Ashlyn Davis, and she'll be at the line to try to trim the lead even down further here for Central Lyon.
Well, Brenna Johnson knew from up top where she was, caught her on the cut. One of the few opportunities that they've had. One of the taller gals with some of the shorter gals on her down low. Recognized it right away, swung it down low.
We'll have a full timeout here called by Central Lyon. We'll take one with them. It's the Lions leading the Rebels by 3 here with 3:16 to play in the third on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Well, like we talked about, both of these fan bases showing up in large numbers here at Wells Fargo Arena. Westwood fans have really had a lot to cheer for. Their team at one point was down by as many as 11 points, but the Rebels have fought back. Members of the Panorama team watching on to see who they will play later on in the week. Westwood will be at the free throw line. Ashlyn Davis, who has 2 points here on the afternoon. Central Lyon led this one 25-21 at half. Led 16-9 after the first quarter. But it's been an up and down, back and forth affair between these two. This Class 2A quarterfinal. There's the last look. Ashlyn Davis getting fouled while on the way up. Splits the pair. The lead is 2 for Central Lyon.
Closest we've had in pretty much since the first 30 seconds of the game.
So how do the Lions handle this sudden pressure? Help defense there from Hanner, taking it away.
You got to keep things around the perimeter right now and try to change those angles.
Up and under Johnson. Didn't get the layup, but then foul afterward. May have been a bit of a frustration. Foul there on Johnson, who had a good run to the basket, but well defended underneath by the Lions again. Points in the paint, very hard to come by for both sides just because of the length and how they're able to just deflect. A lot of those post-entry feeds, a lot of deflections.
On for Westwood, it's Hanner, the shortest player on the court, that just finds herself around the basketball. You know, she just kind of shoots around everywhere, wherever the ball is. You notice her, she works her way down to the paint. She'll be out here on the perimeter, all over the place.
Dialing it up from the corner. In and out. One and done possession there for the Lions. Now Westwood will bring it up. Kate Dries had a big three earlier here in the quarter. Ashlyn Davis collects. Nice bounce pass down low off the glass. Addie Johnson can't get it to go. 2 minutes to go here in our third quarter. Close one here in this Class 2A quarterfinal, the final one before we jump to Class 1A. Austin near side.
There's no spacing right now for Central Lyon. Everything's condensed into one small area.
Hugendorn looking underneath. Up top, off the iron for Austin. Strong rebound brought down by Davis. She has 5 on the afternoon. Chasing it down here is Addie Johnson for Westwood. Hands off to her sister, Brenna Johnson. Reach-in foul will be called here against Alexis Austin, trying to defend Ella Hanner there on the dribble.
For the style that these two teams play, there's really been very few fouls, and both teams really pressuring the basketball a lot, but doing a good job, fundamental defense, keeping the hands off. Very quick hands, too, for a lot of these gals.
That's been another great area, is that playing great defense without fouling.
And obviously, looking at the score, there's been some outstanding defense in this basketball game.
Approaching 1 minute to go. How about Hugendorn pushing the Rebels back?
They had an opportunity with her a long ways away from the basket, but you still have Metzger back there to protect the rim.
Dries thought about letting one fly. Ball will go the other way for Central Lyon as their defense comes up with a big stand.
You just kind of second-guessed yourself, and one of those, as the ball comes out of your hands, you just want to pull it back to you. Everything kind of happens in slow motion and ends up going out of bounds.
Danica Hugendorn with 8 points on today. Quick foul here will go against Westwood. That is their third team foul. Each team has 3 fouls committed here in the quarter. About a 2.5 second differential between the shot and game clock here for Central Lyon.
There's fouls with the new rules this year. They'll reset at the end of this quarter, which been told is making the games go a lot faster. A lot fewer free throws being shot.
Tough angle on that bounce pass. Metzger tried her best to be able to save it from going out of bounds, but a turnover forced by Westwood. They have now forced 18 Central Lyon turnovers today. Points off of turnovers was big for them in the first half. Looking to get more points off of turnovers to either tie or take the lead for the first time today before closing out the third quarter. Brenna Johnson driving in. Runner, no. And Metzger will just bring down the rebound, no shot there to close out the third quarter. 3 quarters in the books, 1 more to go here in this Class 2A quarterfinal. We'll find out in the ensuing 8 minutes who's going to move on to the Class 2A semifinals. We'll have the fourth quarter for you after this on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Frank, when you think Fairway, you think fresh. Is that the winning culture you've tried to create?
Penelope Pineapple, what an unbelievable produce performance. How does your team stay so fresh?
Sunkissed Orange. Is it true Fairway has offered the freshest produce in town since 1938?
What can we say? Our produce is so fresh, we're speechless.
1 quarter remains here to decide who will move on to the Class 2A semifinals. But before we start our 4th quarter, the Iowa Bankers Association is the proud sponsor of the Parade of Champions and the Iowa Student Achievement Award. How about these fans here at Wells Fargo Arena today? You know it's a good sign when you are getting ready to pull up to the parking lot and they say that it's full. You got to find somewhere else.
Yeah, that's been the case every morning here so far. Had to find a different spot. And I think we've got, is a Deer Classic going on right now? I think that might have just started today too, so probably brought in a different crowd a little bit earlier on.
Some of the largest crowds we have seen here this week at Wells Fargo Arena have been for these 2A matchups, and especially here for this one. Central Lyon has the basketball and a 2-point lead. Hunter Phillips and Andy Pollock here with you. Here's Hugendorn. Couple threes made on the day. That one's off the mark. Westwood brings down the rebound. Westwood has not either tied or led today, but can do so here on this trip down the floor.
That 3rd quarter was incredibly defensive as that bucket, just the 6th point of the second half for Westwood. Central Lyon has only scored 2 so far in the second half.
It's been all about defense, and Dries with 5 points here in the second half ties it up. The Rebel fans making noise here at the well. Metzger, tough hook shot, doesn't go. They back it out. 3 isn't there for Ashlyn Davis. Hugendorn saw the opening and gets it off the glass and in for 2.
Seen our scoring pick up quite a bit. It was 4-2 in that 3rd quarter. Was all 6 total points. We've already had 4 points in the first 90 seconds of the 4th.
Both teams trading baskets here to start this 4th quarter. Johnson. 3 doesn't get there. Metzger. The rebound for Central Lyon. She has 12 on the day.
This feels like a game that if it gets down to that final possession, you'd much rather be the team playing defense than the team that needs the bucket.
Both teams with over 10 turnovers today. Just credit to the defense, but especially for the Rebels. They have really limited the scoring for Central Lyon here thus far in the second half. Tough pass underneath. Metzger got her hands on it, but the Rebels will continue to apply pressure, breaking it. Central Lyon across the timeline. Hugendorn, you bet. Big 3, knocked down.
She felt good about that from the moment it left her hand. You know, not able to identify the shooter out there with Hugendorn. And man, that she made that look true.
First attempt of the day from beyond the arc, and she knocks it down, and we have a timeout on the floor. We will take one as well, a fun one here in the 4th quarter on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Well, it's been a defensive battle here to close out this Class 2A quarterfinal bracket. A combined 6 points were netted between the two squads in the 3rd quarter, and already here within the first 3 minutes, we have 7 combined points. Central Lyon outscoring Westwood 5-2, most recently with a Desta Hugendorn 3 with a timeout on the floor. But just when you think that Central Lyon has a bit of momentum, we've seen Westwood with their pressure on defense and doing a great job on the glass today, work their way back.
Well, and it was that 3-pointer that right there that just kind of felt like it opened things up a bunch. A 5-point lead right now feels like a lot. There's several games this week that we've called that 5 has seemed like nothing, but right now in this game, that seems like a 2-possession game feels like a big hill to overcome.
And the largest lead for Central Lyon was 11 points at the 4:12 mark in the 2nd quarter. But Westwood, time and time again, has found ways to battle back. And speaking of battle, both of these teams have dove to the floor constantly here to challenge for the loose balls. We do have a tie-up.
Actually, they call a foul on. Yeah,
right.
they did.
Yes.
She got her arm as she rolled through. It was going to be really close, and a lot of times you'll see officials let that play through in a loose ball situation, but just too much contact there to not call.
Lions.
It's interesting when you see that the shooters are identified. You see certain people that they'll just back off. These scouting reports are so good right now with the video scouting they're able to do ahead of time.
Tip and a steal. Brenna Johnson got fouled, did not get the layup in. A good closeout there defensively in transition by Mariah Gerlman, and so now Brenna Johnson will have to earn those points at the line.
Johnson steps up as Brenna, I was looking at the wrong Johnson. Okay, Brenna Johnson is a 64% free throw shooter, and if the averages hold, she'll hit this second one.
Central Lyon Westwood this year, they've been a very good free throw shooting team. In fact, fourth in Class 2A in free throw shooting at 63.5% as a squad. Approaching the halfway point of our fourth quarter. 4-point lead for Central Lyon. Again, the winner will go on to face Panorama in the semifinals later here in the week. Hugendorn, skip to Gerlman. Right idea, trying to find Alexis Austin. A little too high there on the attempt. And
it's a hard pass to get through. There's a lot of hands in there trying to reach through to tip it away. Both teams from a full court pressure standpoint have really handled things well.
And we've seen it right from the very beginning, just pouring it all out. Brenna Johnson, short corner, not there for Ashlyn Davis.
It's another good look, though, for Westwood. They've had them, just have not been able to capitalize.
Rebels shooting 24.3% from the field. Central Lyon 34.3%.
Not going to be breaking too many offensive records in this game, which we expected when we saw the defensive numbers these two teams have both put up.
Batted out of bounds by Kate Dries. There for Westwood will remain Central Lyon basketball.
And it's really been a lot of strength on strength, offensively and defensively. A couple really good shot blocking teams against a couple really tall offensive teams and teams that really like to pound the ball inside. And they've really negated each other and canceled each other out, and that's why we're looking at such a low-scoring game.
Soaring in the air on that inbounds was Ella Hanner. Knocked that one right into the Central Lyon bench. Even getting an inbounds pass in has been easier said than done for both of these teams. Alexis Austin, that's going to be a takeaway.
That's several times this week that the shot clock has gone off. It was off, the light was lit up, but we never heard a horn go off. So that happened yesterday a couple times as well. I'm not sure if they've got a little malfunction there or what.
Certainly threw off Central Lyon. Addie Johnson, mid-post, trying to force one up. And yet another block for the Lions.
Is that Metzger again, I think? They got in there and got another block. Talked about her in the pre-games, leading the state in shots blocked.
Certainly has added to that tally here today. Alexis Austin. Hugendorn, her sister Danica. Blocking foul there on the drive.
It's fun to watch the post players battle for position. Every time up and down the floor, there is just constant movement, constant, these are players used to getting a lot of touches, and both defenses have really neutralized everything in the post.
Gonna have some IMT insurance substitutions check in for both teams. And they'll be checking in after this 30-second timeout on the floor here called by Central Lyon. They have 2 timeouts remaining. Westwood with 3. Still the fouls pretty minimal for both sides with just over 2.5 minutes remaining. So earlier here in the fourth quarter, Westwood was able to tie things up, but then some big-time shots as well as rebounds by Central Lyon. They are plus 10 in that category, the Lions are, and I think a lot of those critical boards have come here in the fourth quarter.
That's much better. In the first half, it was very even in the first half. So West Lyon has rebounded much better. Of course, there's been a lot of missed shots in general in this second half, but I keep coming back to that three-point shot by Hugendorn, Desta Hugendorn. That was something that just felt like it just really opened up the game, kind of took the wind out of the sails of that comeback that Westwood was working on making.
Here is the aforementioned Desta Hugendorn. Danica Hugendorn sets the screen. Here's in the hands of Ashlyn Davis. Working around the perimeter, Central Lyon looking for the opportunity to go inside. Oh, what a swat there underneath.
Davis came through and got it. And this possession's been a really nice possession for Central Lyon. They're being very patient, see if they can get an open look, and then an offensive foul. So ends up being an even better defensive possession for Westwood.
Both of these teams putting their hard hats on. It's been that kind of a matchup between these two. Rebels have to get this one in. Timeout will be called here by Vince Johnson. So we will stay here, 30-second break.
First, I thought they were ready to call a 5-second call, which I thought was a little bit quick, but that's really one of the first times that we've seen either team have any issue handling the full court pressure, and they just had a tough time getting the ball inbounds. I think offensively, these teams are getting some good looks. I don't sense panic against the pressure defense, but again, just in the half-court sets, good on good, and you're really able to neutralize what teams do best offensively.
So now we'll see what the Rebels will do after drawing up a play. They're out of the timeout. Each team now with 2 timeouts remaining. Still a lot of time to decide this one. Brenna Johnson throws the inbounds in. Collecting is Kate Dries. Nice job of recovering with pressure being brought on by Ashlyn Davis on the other side for Central Lyon.
Yeah, I would expect Davis here. This is her. I would expect her to, at some point, see her getting an open look.
Dries, and there you go. Davis with the catch and fouled there while going for the layup, and she'll be at the charity stripe.
Well, as you just look at who everybody's guarding and who they've shifted around to, she's the one right now, that next scorer that they've got to figure out a way in these last 2 minutes to get her involved, because I think that's where your opportunity to get some baskets comes from.
Just that movement away from the ball has been one of the chess matches it's been fun to watch here throughout the course of the day. 1-for-2 trip, but Dries grabs the miss. And the Rebels can tie it back up or get within 1 here on this possession. Closing in on 1.5 minutes remaining.
They're not an awesome three-point shooting team. They're not bad, but they're not one of the teams that you talk about leading the tournament.
And by getting that rebound back, Vince Johnson says, hey, I'll go ahead and put something together here. Full timeout. We'll take a break as well. 90 seconds remaining. 3-point ball game on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Timeout on the floor called by Westwood, who has the basketball with 1.5 minutes remaining. Central Lyon leading 32-29. We were tied at the 7:07 mark here in this fourth quarter. Otherwise, it's been all Central Lyon today, but Westwood has constantly battled back here throughout the course of the day, again trailing by as many as 11 points. So now we'll see what Coach Johnson draws up out of this timeout.
Well, it's hard because what you're seeing is very heavily switching man-to-man defense because they know they've got the rim protector on the back end so they can pass off everything. But I think what you really have to look for right now is find a way for Brenna Johnson to get some look around the perimeter.
Kate Dries using the screen. Addie Johnson finds Hanner in the corner. Down low, and how about the spin and finish there for Ashlyn Davis?
That's who we said would need to come up big in the tail end of the game.
Hanner wreaking havoc.
How about that? The entire Westwood team there to help Danner up off the hardwood. Great effort by Danner, but another turnover. And now, like you mentioned, a chance to take the lead. And I don't think we've seen a lead yet for Westwood, have we? We've seen ties, but I don't think we've seen Westwood lead at all this entire game.
The Westwood Rebel fans on their feet. One minute to go. We're going to get a foul here. That is team foul number 5 on Central Lyon, so that will put the Rebels to the free throw line.
Addie Johnson, an 81% free throw shooter. And again, no more 1-and-1s in high school basketball, so she'll have a chance to take the lead.
Tied up again. Rebels in front for the first time today.
Didn't see this happening 2 minutes into the ball game, did we?
Central Lyon started the game on a 10-0 run. And out of a timeout by Westwood, it has been as back and forth the matchup as you'll witness. Timeout by Central Lyon. As they bring it across to their end of the floor, I believe it will be a full timeout. Just over 50 seconds remain. Westwood, for the first time on the afternoon, is in front. Don't go anywhere here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Coming down to the wire here at the well. Westwood, undefeated, the number 3 seed, battle-tested against Central Lyon, who has been runner-up here in Class 2A in each of the past 2 seasons. And if you like defense, this has been the game for you. How about Westwood holding Central Lyon to 7 points here, Andy, in the second half, and forced 11 turnovers.
Just an outstanding defensive effort. Again, that constant pressure has just started to wear on them more and more. The tough part is, against all the different defensive looks that we've seen from Westwood, what do you try to draw up coming out? Looks like their initial play's already been taken away.
Sprinting out of the corner is Ashlyn Davis. Time ticking away here for Alexis Austin. And what are we going to get here? Tie-up, it will remain Central Lyon basketball. Boy, and Danica Hugendorn had at least 3 Rebels around her converging to the basketball. There's 13 seconds on the shot clock here. as we get another look at just that tight play underneath. Yeah, a pair of Rebels were right there.
Another opportunity for a set play quick underneath the basket.
Alexis Austin. Gerlman. Hugendorn looking down low.
Look at the effort down there. I mean, just sliding in completely, trying to take everything away. Johnson slides through there, and I love the effort that we've had this entire game.
Embracing the floor burn today. Here's a three put up, short by Gerlman. Rebound for Westwood. And a foul committed by Central Lyon.
Good quick foul. They were going to have to foul. You don't have an opportunity to just play defense anymore. And I'm not so sure about right now it being Addie Johnson that goes to the free throw line. I didn't think she was the one that was fouled, but she'll gladly go up to the line to shoot. The 81% free throw shooter. Maybe they called it earlier than what I thought.
She joins her sister Brenna in double figures now with 10. 9 rebounds today for Addie Johnson as well. 7 of 8 from the line. Addie Johnson with huge makes here down the stretch. Timeout Westwood, 30-second timeout. Rebels up by 3 over Central Lyon.
Couple things here coming out of the timeout. As far as playing defense right now, defend all threes. You want to be on the threes. If they want to go in for a layup, that's fine. And then the other part is, unless Central Lyon's going to use their last timeout, take your time getting that ball back inbounds. The clock does not stop in high school basketball in the final minute of the game. So we've seen a lot of situations this year that the team behind has just been left powerless to stop the clock. You don't even have to throw the ball inbounds. So you've got a few seconds to go grab it. You've got a few seconds to throw it in. Take all the time you want. You've still got another timeout. So they have an opportunity. Westwood's out of timeouts right now. So it's Central Lyon that if they score, they have to use their timeout right away. You can't use it any time outside just to set up a play. And they did. Ooh, that's hard. They do not have a way to stop the clock if they don't hit a three. They're going to have to shoot right away. You don't have much time to run anything to wind it down to the end. You're going to have to take a three-point shot right now.
So we do have a full timeout, but how about we go ahead and stay here with it being 18.5 ticks to go. So for head coach Heather Grafing on one side for Central Lyon, seeing her team just really struggle to find anything offensively, but knowing that they have the personnel to be able to score at will. But Vince Johnson on the other side, his defense from his Rebels has been very stout throughout the course of the afternoon. Again, these are the moments that you practice for. Going to be interesting to see how it'll play out here in the final seconds of this one.
I think you have to try to figure out a way to free up Ashlyn Davis for three. But again, defensively, they're going to be on you. You're going to take away all threes, and then if they don't hit it, or if they hit it two, let it go. Just let the clock expire. Assuming they don't do it in the first 3 or 4 seconds here. Look for Davis.
Hugendorn with
Davis,
the basketball.
Davis is underneath the basket right now. Look for it to pop out. There it is.
Austin. Now 10 seconds here for Central Lyon. Ball batted loose. Scooped up by the Lions. Gerlman three. Doesn't reach the basket. And Westwood, all they have to do is inbound it, and they're moving on.
Inbound and just hold on to that basketball. You're not worried about getting tied up right now.
Johnson to throw it in, caught by Hanner, and the Rebels rise up in dramatic fashion. The 3 seed, Westwood, tops the 6 seed Central Lyon, 35-32. Is our final score here at Wells Fargo Arena.
Very workmanlike effort from Westwood in that game. Nothing came easy for either team offensively, but Westwood just better enough in the fourth quarter.
What a year for Central Lyon. They finish it out at 20-4. But Westwood remains undefeated, 22-0, and they will take on Panorama. Here in just a moment, we'll turn things back to our public address announcer, Tim Fitzpatrick, for the trophy presentation. And for Westwood to put their name on the bracket.
In addition to receiving medallions, each participating player will receive a commemorative basketball provided by the Iowa Farm Bureau, proud title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Presenting awards from the IGHSAU are Executive Director Gene Berger and Basketball Administrator Gary Ross. Congratulations to Head Coach Heather Grafing and the Lions of Central Lyon on an outstanding basketball season. And now Jordan Schull will advance her team to the next round on the official bracket at center court. Congratulations, Rebel fans. Your team advances to the semifinals and will play Panorama on Friday at 11:45. Fans, on behalf of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, we thank you for coming out today and supporting your favorite team. As a reminder, please exit the arena so we can prepare for the next game. Thank you.
Came down to the very end, but Westwood moves on to the Class 2A semifinals as they top Central Lyon. Final thoughts, Andy, from a game that just delivered so many twists and turns. Both teams gave it their all, and what a treat they put on. But Westwood really showing us that they're a team that can battle through a little bit of adversity.
And they certainly did, getting down in two different times in the first half and in the second half, getting down by 11. But Central Lyon led this game for over 30 minutes, and it didn't matter because at the end it was Westwood having just enough at the very end. I loved how these teams played defensively. They were aggressive without having to be over-aggressive. We didn't see the backdoor cuts be successful because you had a lot of rim protectors there. So a really fun game to call here today. It was a pleasure working with you, Hunter.
Always a pleasure to work with you as well, my friend. Coming up next, it's Class 1A quarterfinals and begins with the 1-versus-8 matchup as Northland battles Montezuma. But on behalf of our entire crew, led by our producer Jose Guzman, and for my broadcast partner Andy Pollock, I'm Hunter Phillips, signing off here from Wells Fargo Arena in downtown Des Moines, and we thank you for watching our live coverage of the 2024 Girls State Basketball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau on the Girls Union Network.